Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the new Gems of War Mythic of Quetzalma, as well as general strategy with it, and a bunch of teams. So, this Mythic is the main reward from this Season Pass for Season 3 for Gems of War. There are basically 4 ways that you can end up getting it. 2 are paid way, and the other 2 are free to play. As far as the 2 paid ways, you could have gotten it last Monday, as early as last Monday, if you bought the 25 bigger pass. Most people probably just go for the $10 pass, which will be able to get it as early as tomorrow, as soon as we hit the 10th week of the campaign. And the 2 free methods of getting it is the next Suncrest event. After next week's Suncrest event, you'll be able to get it through event keys. So do not open event keys for it next week, as it will not be in the drop table. However, the Suncrest event after the Suncrest event will have it in the event key drop table. However, the one going on throughout this week will not. So do be wary of that. And aside from that, whenever it appears in the Soulforge, currently the Season 1 Mythic has occurred into the Soulforge. However, the Season 2, I believe, has not. And obviously, the Season 3 hasn't yet. And won't for probably several months, so do be wary of that. But those are all the ways that you would end up accumulating it. And of course, if you do get it through Soulforge, it'll cost the standard 4,000 diamonds and everything that any standard Mythic would in a Soulforge. But anyways, we're going to be going over this thing. Let's start by actually looking at the card. It is a 26 mana cost, yellow, purple, green, very similar to 2 troops. One is Snowy Owl, which oddly enough is a common, and also very similar to Inferno King, as you'll see from its final trait, unfortunately, or fortunately. But as far as its ability, it deals a bunch of scatter damage boosted by chosen gem color. Generally, this is going to be about 10, so it gets about 30 additional damage. It's not too much as far as additional damage. However, one nice thing I found about it is when it's webbed, it still maintains a good majority of its damage, since it has a base attack of 20, plus it still gets the boost ratio, so it can still hit for about 50 even when webbed, which of course still isn't super high, but in a PvP-like situation, isn't that bad. And then it also gets to create 10 yellow gems, which is its main mechanic. Obviously, yellow does feed back into itself, which means it could theoretically infinite loop, which is kind of the whole premise of this thing. So basically what you get to do is remove all gems of a chosen color, and then create 10 yellow. So this will make the board smaller so that the 10 yellow will have more of a chance to land, but it also lets you remove stuff that you don't need. Do keep in mind this is remove and not destroy, so you do not accumulate the mana for all the gems that are removed, but you do gain boost ratio off it, and it does make your 10 yellow much easier to end up landing. As far as its traits, it does get a yellow storm at start of battle, so if you're not already using a yellow storm on your team for the first 4 turns, assuming it doesn't get countered, we'll be able to have a yellow storm, which obviously helps it a lot, given that it will be doing a bunch of yellow onto the board and potentially infinite loop. And the final trait that it has is the one that's like Inferno King, 20% chance that it resurrects itself. However, the main difference with this is, well, for one, it's 5% lower. However, the caveat to that is if it does come back, it comes back with full mana, meaning it could potentially start looping as soon as it comes back from death. So this is very inconsistent. Honestly, I don't think I've seen this a single time yet, the 20% chance that it actually revives. But if this was to happen, it could potentially die, come back non-frozen, non-anything, no stats effects on it, and just start looping again because it will already have its full mana and be ready to go. So there's some instances where, oddly enough, if it dies, it could actually net gain mana, since it could go from like having 12 out of 26 die and then have all of its mana ready to go as soon as it comes back. So kind of interesting mechanic, first of its kind as far as in this regard. So interesting to see exactly how this will pan out, at least on something as powerful as a Mythic anyways. I think a Dragon Egg has it or something, or a Baby Dragon has on some mechanic. But as far as actual good troops, is like the first really good troop to end up getting some kind of synergy like that. And aside from that, it does count as a Divine and a Strix. This is somewhat relevant because it does get used with the Perpetual Yellow Hero class, which is a Suncrest Strix hero class, and it can also be 40% mana started off of Divine, of course, using Divine Ishbala, which is decent synergy for it. So anyways, we're going to go and just do a bunch of teams. We'll just do 3 PvP battles. As far as this troop, I do like it a lot. However, I don't feel like it's good for much. It's mostly going to be used for PvP. It's a lot of fun to use this troop. But as far as its overall usefulness, it feels like around B tier or so. Maybe A tier. It has a lot of loot potential, but it requires a lot of setup to get that loot potential. And for the most part, it's going to be used for PvP and for Guild Wars. The team that we're actually using right now is the main team that you can actually incorporate this into Guild Wars. The only thing that makes this not a pure green team is Hero, which we're currently using Rope Dart on. So if you replace that out for his Essence of Evil, or, you know, literally any other green weapon that you want to use with this, this would qualify as a pure green Guild War team if you wanted to use it for such. So right here, we'll take this extra turn, trying to get alignment on one of our converts. Ideally, you want to have that Did we already have it and I just didn't notice? Probably. Well, we'll keep moving stuff off the board until we can get something rolling here. We do have Rope Dart. He's about to convert green to purple, which honestly is not necessarily a bad thing. We kind of want him to do that, as that will actually help us quite a bit to get our alignment off of Mercy. Though I don't think it's actually going to give us alignment, oddly enough. One thing that we could do, since we kind of know that's not going to give us alignment, is for one, just throw down a Rope Dart. For whatever reason, he's not stealthy on hero. That's weird. You always use stealthy on this hero class. I'm not sure why. He's not, but that makes this a lot easier. So if we still don't have alignment here, I guess we take the... Oh, we're entangled though. We can't go for skull. So we'll probably just pass our turn. Oh, no, I can't now too because of the thing. Oh, no. Okay, let's just make sure if we take the skull, he doesn't have green to purple alignment. And as long as he doesn't, I guess we just have next turn convert, and then we go from there. And then we can start getting this team rolling. So I think we're good to go here. Ideally, we'd want to cast Mercy, but it looks like we're going to have to waste our cast here. Just because Mercy doesn't currently have alignment. However, now it does, so we can. One nice thing about Rope Dart in this team, though, of course, it doesn't have to be Rope Dart, but one nice thing that we can end up doing, given that it is a Rope Dart there, is we can end up using extra turn value from all these Spears yellows that we're going to be getting, basically meaning all the excess yellow we'll actually be able to use. So as far as gems that you tend to convert out with this, you tend to convert out whatever your team does not need. So right now we have purple to yellow convert, so we technically need purple. We have blue to yellow convert, so we technically need blue. So we mainly want to aim for things like red and brown. Theoretically, we don't use green. However, we have 3 things, or if you're using your hero weapon that's green, 4 things that need green. So in this particular instance, it would mostly be brown, red, and mostly brown and red that you'd want to get rid of. Let's see, what do we go for here? Since you'll end up needing the other colors to some capacity. So we'll go for this. Obviously, we did not, unfortunately, land an extra turn there, but we should be able to get most of our mana back pretty quickly. Ideally, what you want to get going, of course, is a just infinite loop for it. And once you get that, you're pretty much good to go. And I think we are finally within that position. So sometimes you are going to have to remove green. I'm actually somewhat tempted to here. Purple would also be a good color, but of course, ideally, we don't want to do that. But I do believe we actually do go for purple here just because it does look like it has a bit of a higher chance to land an extra turn. It does ultimately end up missing, though. But we'll go for another convert here. Should be able to get a pretty decent amount of mana here. Not an extra turn, but enough to get us rolling, which should roll straight into a win at this point, as long as Life and Death doesn't infinite us somehow, like Life and Death likes to do. He's about to get a resummon soon, too. Let me actually go move him into first, just because he still has that orb summoning thing, so we still don't want to deal with that. Unfortunately, this Mercy really does not want to get full mana, so I'm going to have to, unfortunately, deny our much-needed purple in order just to make sure we land that extra turn. Sometimes you do have to deny the colors you need just to guarantee you get that extra turn. And I think at this point, that is the match. We just do that. We throw down whatever. It doesn't even matter what we target at this point. And he's dead. And it was still our turn. But that's basically how the general cycle of it goes. You just control the board. Hope you get extra turns and pretty much just roll from there. And just try killing it that way. So let's see how an infinite loop team works against an infinite loop. These infinite loops or truffle are still better overall than the one that we're currently using. However, it definitely has potential for some various teams and does have some applicability in being able to be used in a Guild War day. So right here, of course, we are running a little bit of a different team. Still running the Mercy. One nice thing about that, of course, is Cleanse whenever we end up casting. However, we're doing Divine Ishbala now. Obviously, the main benefit of Divine Ishbala is the 40% mana start. However, its convert is also particularly good. Even though you generally don't want skulls onto the board, it denies so much of stuff that you don't need that it kind of works. So we'll just go for this, end up getting a nice convert, and we should pretty much be good to go. And since we are using a different team, we technically don't need blue. I am going to take a little bit just to get Mercy rolling, though, just to kind of get that up. Unfortunately, now it doesn't look like it's viable to go for blue, so we're going to have to go for a different color. If we don't have Divine Ishbala alignment, we would have probably converted away brown. It looks like we're still going to convert away brown here. We also have a Mercy option if we want. I guess we'll go for that. Yeah, we'll go for Mercy here. We'll go for a Mercy there. Now it's very obvious we want to go for brown. Get rid of all the brown. Hit land our extra turn. And, oh no, we actually didn't land extra turn. My bad. Divine Ishbala has it, though, so we just go use Divine Ishbala and get it rolling again. And be good to go. And we just keep chipping them down over and over and over again. And that is the premise. Here we'll go for purple. Get our extra turn there. Oh gosh, he has banned. Oh no, we didn't get the extra turn because how converted. No. He got rid of the skull alignment there. That would have otherwise cascaded in. Because of course yellow can overlap everything other than yellow. Whenever you summon a gem, it will overlap literally everything except the color itself. So one thing I haven't been using with this team, Fist of Heaven. This is a weapon from Whitehelm. It ends up exploding all yellow and then grants a random stats effect to all divines. Our entire team right now is divine because we are using priest hero class, which for the main benefit of +2 yellow is the main reason we're doing that. And you can throw this down and you get a bunch of stats effects. So for example, right here, we just got barrier for our entire team. Obviously it's random, but that is a pretty good roll as far as stats effects that we would want to see when using this team. So right here, we'll just kind of just take a move over here, go for another Divine Ishpala, and kind of go from there. But as you can see, this team definitely not the quickest. It's personally, I haven't really found too good of a use for anything yet. It's obviously somewhat decent for PvP. It has a pretty good win rate, if nothing else. It has a surprisingly decent win rate for normal PvP. But unless you get really lucky, it's not particularly quick. But probably its main benefit, it is a lot of fun to use. It's a really unique playstyle compared to a lot that already exists within the game. And is rather unique as far as the playstyles that various teams have. So definitely fun to mess around with in PvP. Definitely Green Guild War accessible. Right here, we have our cheap team. So right here, we're using Finesse to common. Ideally, you want it fully traded, though it is a little bit of expensive troop to trade because it's more expensive than a normal common. But basically, the whole point of this team is it's actually pure Strix. We are now using the Suncrest hero class, which counts as a Strix, as well as Suncrest. So basically what we're doing here is having triple Strix. This gives us 4 to all skills on all Strixes, and we have 2 of them, so it's giving 8 to our entire team per extra turn. So obviously we're going to stack a lot of extra turn by doing that, and that's basically the whole premise, is we gain a lot of value from every single extra turn, and we kind of just go crazy from there. There's also Perpetual Yellow Storm, obviously from the hero class, which will help a lot in our looping, so we don't have a Yellow Storm just for the first 4 turns. It just keeps going, so we'll go for this. I didn't actually double check to see if either of these things have alignment, and apparently he does. We're not frozen on red, though. We don't even use red. That's one of the only slight benefits of, like, not using a color is you can't actually be frozen on that color if you're not actually using that color. So that's actually somewhat strategic at times. So we'll go for this right here. What we'll let him do is convert. I don't really think we could stop it at this point. Brown to red. There's just so much alignment on that to even try to get a stop. Actually, we can kind of stop it. I kind of want to hope Nimbus Bow does it, though, instead. Because if we just kill this, we're gaining a bunch of stats, 6 stats every single one of these extra turns. So as you can see, we're already hitting for over 111 on this. This thing that was doing like 50-something, plus its boost ratio, is now doing 118. So obviously, we keep stacking like crazy. And ideally, if we weren't frozen, what we would be doing is constantly going for yellow here. A little bit hard to do when frozen. That's pretty much the main thing you have to really worry about with this team. With like many looping teams, is once you get frozen, you are kind of in a bit of a weird situation. We'll do this one again and hopefully not be up against freeze. But as you can see, it works out pretty good. And this is the cheapest of the teams. If you don't have Nimbus Bow, you'll use a different mana accumulation weapon there. Nimbus Bow is definitely the best option, though, because you're already using a pure Strix team. But Nimbus Bow is definitely not required. Obviously, the main premise is double finesse going into Quetzalma doing its thing. Theoretically, actually, never mind. You couldn't get away with 3 finesses because you need to make sure you're using Perpetual Yellow. Otherwise, the finesse don't get their value because otherwise you'd only get the value for the first 4 turns, and that's way too inconsistent to depend on compared to having a Perpetual. Also, we're up against freeze right now. Why am I going against this battle? Let me go get a non-freeze battle so we can go show this so that we can actually show it properly. Are you a non-freeze? Technically, can we find a little bit of a harder battle, though? Well, I guess that counts as a harder battle. Oh, no. Which one is actually technically harder? I guess this one's still technically harder. We'll go for this one. You're not using freeze, so let's just go for this. Neither of them are actually using freeze. I'll go for this guy. This guy has a lot of score reduction there, but that won't stop us from casting, if nothing else. So, right off the bat, we do want to get finesses going. That's the main thing that we're going to want to get mana for, so probably a lot of yellow. You could go for your mana accumulation weapon instead. Depending on what you have, if the mana is really prevalent on the board. However, once we get this going, we're already within range, so we're pretty much just good to go at this point. Luckily, these do count as yellow. Finesse does do double damage to anything yellow, not just off its skulls, but also off its ability. Unfortunately, we are stunned right here, so we don't get to necessarily use the extra turn mechanic like last time, so we won't be able to stack. Another aspect of this team is going to be neutralized this time around, but looks like one of them got undone. So we're still going to get a little bit of our stats back, if nothing else, but not as much as we would be gaining otherwise. We're just gaining 4 per extra turn instead of the normal 8 from having 2 of them up. And unless he keeps stunning us again. We still were able to get some stat value out of that, though. But obviously against stun spam, it looks like we're going to get a little bit less. That also means we can't end up getting a revive if it does die. As you've seen here, it hasn't died a single time, though it might be this time. Oddly enough, this might actually be the battle that kills us of all the things. Let's see. He's using yellow there, so we can end up going for the poke there. He's going to get resummoned off his thing, though, which is going to be a little annoying because we're actually already within kill range, so we'll go for that. He's been getting really lucky off his mana accumulation, but now he won't be able to. And we still have a full team, so we are going to still be able to get the full boost ratio there. A little bit of yellow short kind of makes me want to go for a second, or go for a yellow here, and then do it into that. But we're actually going to go for the cast first, just to guarantee that we get the kill, and then hopefully get our loop going and kind of be good to go from there, which is exactly what happened. And we are finally cleansed, so we do start gaining those stats again, which builds up durability very quick. Unfortunately, it hasn't unstunned its on-death trait, though that's going to be ridiculously hard to show. I don't think I've triggered it a single time. because even when it does die, obviously it's 20% chance that it occurs. So very rarely do you actually get to get value from its final trait, almost making it seem like it almost doesn't have traits other than this little yellow storm. And when you're using the strict zero class, it doesn't even matter because you already have the perpetual yellow storm. So more often than not, it almost feels like it has no traits at all. But when that triggers, it will be very, very good value since you get it back not only at full durability and everything, as if it was never touched, but also full mana. But overall, really fun troop. Definitely would mess around with it. As far as its viability, I personally don't feel like I will be using it for anything going forward. I have been messing around with it on streams and such here and there throughout the week, but aside from just messing around in PvP with it, and maybe green Guild War, potentially even yellow Guild War, but I feel like green will be the slightly better one since yellow is more likely to be denied on yellow day, obviously. But aside from green Guild War and occasionally just messing around with it on PvP, I don't feel like this Mythic is really going to be used for much. There's much more consistent infinite loops out there, but it's definitely a fun playstyle. And I advise checking it out. As far as getting this after the fact, I probably wouldn't bother if you're playing free to play for the most part. Obviously, if you're getting it through the pass, it's still pretty good and worth considering. But if you're going to go free to play, there's a lot of other mythics that you can get that are better for 4,000 diamonds and throwing event keys at. So this one might end up being a skip. Though, actually, this one might be okay to throw event keys at. Not next week, but the following time that it comes around. Because Phoenicia. Also from Suncrest, so you would be able to go and get either or, which obviously that's pretty good value if you could just pick up a Phoenicia and this thing, or either or, you'd still end up getting an okay troop. But anyways, guys, that'll wrap it up for this video. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And again, that Mythic will be available tomorrow if you end up getting the normal pass and complete out all the tasks, so definitely advise to do so. We'll be going over all of the tasks, of course, for the Chapter 10 tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we do every single night, as we've done for all of the chapters. But anyways, guys, I'll catch you later. Hope you all have a wonderful week, and thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye, everyone.